Okay, speaking practice now. Okay, we have class IELTS 39 now tonight, and they will do their speaking practice tonight. Now, class, let's go to topic part 1, number 18. Color. Did we do color? Yes, we did. Number 19 is about your country. It's about your country. Okay. So, which part of your country do you want to live in? Bạn thích sống ở cái phần nào, ở chỗ nào đất nước bạn? Like we have the northern part, we have the central part, and we have the southern part. Miền Bắc, miền Trung, miền Nam. Or if some country they have the west and the east side as well. Which part of your country do you want to live in? It can be about provinces. Sống ở những cái vùng, những cái province, những cái tỉnh nào. Province. Tỉnh thành. Now, you can talk about whether you want to live in the north, northern, central, or southern part of the country. Or the western part or eastern part is up to you. What makes you feel proud of your country? Điều gì làm các bạn cảm thấy tự hào đất nước bạn? What makes you feel proud of your country? Think about everything you can, including the cuisine. Cuisine. Cuisine, ẩm thực. Think about the culture, văn hóa. Think about the long history of fighting invaders. Lịch sử lâu đời để chống ngoại xâm. Think about and think about a lot of other things. There are many things you can be proud of in a country. Like for example, you can be proud of the fact that you have talents. Những tài năng, những người tài năng, đó là những cái điều mà một đất nước nên cảm thấy tự hào. Like talents in any field, you can be proud of a lot of things, you know. Now, next question. Will you stay in Vietnam in the future? Bạn sẽ ở Việt Nam ở trong tương lai chứ? Will you stay in Vietnam, like you remain there, you do not try to get out of that country, you know? Bạn sẽ cố gắng ở lại Việt Nam trong tương lai chứ? Do you know the history of your country well? Bạn có biết lịch sử đất nước bạn đủ tốt không? Like you know about the different wars, about the kingdoms, những cái triều đại. Like for example, the latest dynasty is the Nguyen dynasty. We have the Nguyen dynasty, the TRAN dynasty, the Lý dynasty, a lot of dynasty. Do you know about the battles, những cái trận chiến không? Which products are typical of your country? Sản phẩm nào là điển hình? Typical. Cẩn thận, cái từ này rất là hay sai nè. Typical. Điển hình. Which products are typical of your country? Sản phẩm nào là điển hình của đất nước bạn? So think about the food, think about furniture, think about shoes, think about anything you can buy, you know. What products are typical of your country? Okay. So, Mr. please, so which part of your country do you want to live in?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well.
I'll say that would probably be the most fantastic place for me to reside. I think it's situated in the highlands of Vietnam.
Yes.
And it has the pleasant weather all year round, so that's why it's widely known as a city of like internal spring.
Yes.
Besides that, I think that Delhi has so many landmarks for you guys and for the tourists to visit.
Okay, careful. What do you say, guys? Cẩn thận những cái từ những cái từ lóng nha, tránh sử dụng từ lóng. Try not to use slang in IELTS, okay? Can you try that again?
Like I don't remember much. So I think that Delhi is famous for a wide range of flowers, vegetables, and fruits. There are also lots of landscapes and farmlands, I guess. It's just a perfect place for tourists who love nature like me to visit, like to pay a visit and spend our life there.
Okay. Okay, very good. How about Lynn? Which part of your country do you want to live in and why?
Actually, I want to reside in the north of Vietnam.
Oh, they reside in the north of Vietnam, I see.
Yeah, especially the capital of Vietnam.
Especially, careful.
Especially.
Especially. Chứ không phải là especially nha. Nó là especially.
Especially the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi. This is
especially
because
the capital of Vietnam, có thiếu chữ of, Hanoi. The capital of Vietnam, Hanoi.
Yeah, this is because in the north of Vietnam we have all 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. It doesn't like the south of Vietnam. And also the capital of Hanoi is a famous place in Vietnam. When people talk about Hanoi, we immediately think about Vietnam, and Hanoi also have famous cuisine, and which attract 1,000 of tourists every year.
And when we tourists per day or something like that. Hàng ngày.
Per day. Okay, per day. And when we reside in Hanoi, we will have a chance to talk with
a chance to
talk with tourists from everywhere in the world. I think it's a good way to practice English. Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Trung, what makes you feel proud of your country? What makes you feel proud of your country?
As a Vietnamese, I think there are many things to be proud of in Vietnam.
Yes.
But one thing that makes me feel proud the most of my country is the food. Yeah. As you can see on the media, a lot of travelers from all over the world, they come to my country and they appreciate Vietnamese food. Vietnamese food is so diversified.
It's so diverse. Very good. It's so diverse.
It's so diverse.
It's so diverse, and then what? What else then?
Some even compare Vietnam. Some even make a
comparison. They even make a comparison of Vietnam to something.
They said that Vietnam is like the Silicon Valley of street food.
Oh wow, that's actually true though.
Yeah.
Not the Silicon Valley of technology, unfortunately. Just street food. Yeah.
So yeah, because the people all over the world give their applause to the Vietnamese food. So this is one thing that would make me feel really proud of my country.
Right. So, Miss Lin, please, do you know the history of your country well?
Oh, I think when talking about the many dynasties. Yeah, actually, I do not know well, but when talking about the welfare debates between Vietnam and France, or Vietnam.
You mean, the conflict between the French and Vietnam, right?
Vietnam, or Vietnam between USA. I think I know well, because I'm in 12 grade, so we are learning about the conflict between two countries. So
the conflict between two countries, I see.
So I know well about that. And in Vietnam, they broadcast many films about this conflict. So I think I know more about.
I see. Right. So, Mr. Will you stay in Vietnam in the future? What do you think? Will you try to maybe go to another country or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's very likely that I would settle in Vietnam for my entire life.
No, don't say that, because you never know the future. You never know what the future might hold, you know. Mr. Will you say something? Nó bị lag rồi. Okay, I think your internet is very laggy now. Mr. Did you say something? Listen, my internet is actually quite good. I changed to Viettel a few days ago. It's good. I think you need to talk to your mom about changing the internet now. I think, because it's really bad, I think. Tường ơi, are you there? Cái microphone nó có hiện lên như vậy chứng tỏ là Tường có nói nhưng mà nó không có qua thôi. Nó có cái gì sai sai với cái microphone của Tường. I think there's something wrong with your microphone, I think. Yeah. Tường đang nói cái gì á? Yeah. Nó hiện ra nhưng mà bên đó lại không nghe. Alright, you need to fix that, okay, Tường? You need to fix that. Because we cannot hear you. Không nghe. Okay, Mr. Trung, please. So what products are typical of your country?
Okay. So the typical products from my country, I think, the coffee and the rice.
Yeah, coffee and the likes.
Right.
Giống như vậy.
You know, Vietnam is the rice. Sorry.
Vietnam is actually a big rice exporter.
Yeah.
Nhà xuất khẩu gạo lớn. What else then?
For the rice, Vietnam has a really long history of growing rice, and you know what? Actually, most Vietnamese food are made of rice.
Are made of rice, yes.
The rice plays an important role in Vietnamese cuisine. And they are also one typical product from my country, Vietnam. Another one is coffee. You know what? Vietnam is among the top countries that has the biggest export for country for coffee
Yes, for
all
coffee.
over the world. Yeah. So also I'm a big fan of coffee, and whenever I have my friends from other country visit Vietnam, I always give them some
Vietnamese
black
coffee.
coffee as a gift for them to
Wow.
bring
Yes, I think it's a good
home
gift to give them.
and, and introduce uh, Vietnamese coffee to their friend living abroad.
Right, I think it's a good idea to do that. Uh, right, so Miss Lin, so do you know the typical products of your country?
I think the typical product of my country is rice, something relating to rice. Yeah, Vietnam is the
Related to
second
rice, actually.
related to rice. Vietnam is the second largest rice exporter in the world.
The world.
The world.
Yes.
So we export something relating to rice, like
related to
right,
rice.
related to rice, like sticky rice noodles.
Yes.
Sticky rice noodles. The something Vietnamese cakes, bánh chưng.
Chưng cake.
Chưng cake.
I think we can call them
chưng cake.
Yeah. All right. So, beside from that, okay, Mr. Are you there? Can you turn your microphone, please? Maybe it works now. Okay, say something.
Hi.
Okay, I hear you now. Okay, perfect. Can you answer one question? Do you know the history of your country well?
So I learned a lot during our history classes at school, but I just cannot say that I know the history of Vietnam really well. All I studied in school about Vietnamese history is just about like war and war. And from what I know, like in the past, Vietnam had to beat like China for about 1,000 years to um, to protect our border, right? And after that, we had to beat also France and America to protect our independence too.
Right, I see. That's a good enough answer. I think that's a good enough answer. Now, so what makes you feel proud of your country, The
So like all there are a lot of reasons why why I feel proud to be a Vietnamese. Uh, Firstly, is because of Vietnamese food. Like, it's the best. For example, phở, bún chả, or bánh cuốn. Like, all taste amazing while being like incredibly healthy and reasonable for most of us. In addition, Vietnam has many, amazing and significant places.
significant, you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean significant places? Is it important places or what?
Like scenic place.
What do you mean by significant places? It's not clear what you mean by that,
Like attractive. Like attractive.
Okay, attractive places sounds like a better adjective to use in this situation, Phải dùng đúng cái tính từ trong từng ngữ cảnh. Alright, so right, I think it's good enough now. Let's go to part 2 and 3. Now, so let's choose something far away. Quite far away. Let's try 39, I think. Or maybe 38. 38 is describe a time when you needed to use your imagination. Miêu tả một cái thời điểm mà các bạn lúc đó phải sử dụng trí tưởng tượng của các bạn. You should say what the situation was. Tình huống đó là hồi đó là tình huống gì? Tình huống gì vậy? Why you needed to use your imagination? Tại sao lúc đó bạn lại cần sử dụng cái trí tưởng tượng các bạn? What the difficulties were about it? Nó đã có những cái khó khăn gì về chuyện đó? Explain how you felt about it. Bạn cảm thấy thế nào về điều đó? Một thời điểm bạn cần sử dụng trí tưởng tượng các bạn. Like, this is a bit hard, right? Let me give you some clue. Maybe sometimes when you have your literature classes, những lớp học văn học chẳng hạn. Literature classes, of course, that's when you need to use your imagination a lot. You can talk about the case when you meet a police officer and you have to lie to get out of get out of a trouble, you know, to get out of trouble. People often lie to police officers to get out of trouble, you know. Người ta thường xạo xạo với lại cảnh sát, công an để mà đỡ và bị rắc rối, you know. Yeah, that's also like to lie. You need to use your imagination. Yes, but there can be some other cases when you need to use your imagination. But most of the time, I think it's related to lying or related to creative acts, doing something creative. Mình nghĩ đôi khi nó liên quan đến cái chuyện làm gì đó mà mang tính sáng tạo là chính, hoặc là nói dối. Of course, lying requires a lot of imagination. Okay, so we have part 3 also about imagination. Do you think adults can have a lot of imagination? Bạn có nghĩ rằng người lớn cũng có thể có rất là nhiều trí tưởng tượng không? Wow, just wait and see. Children is very imaginative, yes, but adults can sometimes have it too, especially when they are late for work and they have to come up with excuses. Người lớn cũng đầy tưởng tượng đấy, đặc biệt khi nào mà họ trễ làm, đi làm trễ xong rồi cái em bị cái này, em bị cái kia. Phải dùng trí tưởng tượng rất nhiều đấy. Or when they cannot finish a deadline, they have to think of excuses, you know. That requires a lot of imagination, for example. Cho ví dụ nhiều không? Just give example. Do you think imagination is essential for scientists? Bạn có nghĩ trí tưởng tượng là tối cần thiết cho những nhà khoa học gia hay không? So think about what they do. They are research. Think about their research. Think about the direction of the research. Nghĩ về cái hướng của nghiên cứu đó. Sometimes you need to think a lot, imagine how it would be, you know. Imagine the result. Đôi khi phải nghĩ đến cái kết quả, thử đoán kết quả chẳng hạn. Imagine the result, imagine the situation that you need to do research on, you know. So, but the question here is it essential? Nó có tối cần thiết không? Is imagination essential for scientists or not? What kind of jobs need imagination? Những loại công việc nào cần trí tưởng tượng? Think about different jobs. This question can be answered in many ways, okay? Câu này có thể được trả lời bằng nhiều cách lắm. Next one. What subjects are helpful for children's imagination? Cái môn nào là hữu ích cho cái trí tưởng tượng của trẻ nhỏ? Môn học nào á? How can people build or improve their imagination? Làm thế nào con người ta xây dựng hay là cải thiện cái sự mà tưởng tượng của họ? Well, I can give you a hint. People can try to avoid repetitive repetitive work. Con người ta ráng làm sao mà tránh né những cái công việc mà cứ mang tính lặp lại. Chính cái sự lặp đi lặp lại đó nó mới giết chết cái sáng tạo á, và sự tưởng tượng á. Basically, people need to try to avoid repetitive work. That's what I think, okay? You might think differently. It depends on your idea, though. Công việc mà nó cứ lặp đi lặp lại hoài nó sẽ gây chán và nó làm cho cái sự tưởng tượng và cái thứ nó bị thui chột đi. Build or improve the imagination. What activities people can do? Có thể tham gia vào những hoạt động nào? Can people join debates? Có thể tham gia vào những cái cuộc mà tranh luận chẳng hạn. Debates actually help improve imagination sometimes too, you know? Okay. Okay, you think about this one, okay? You have some time now. Okay, now let's describe a time when you needed to use your imagination. Mr. Trung, can you start first?
Yeah, the time when I use my imagination is when I read books.
When I what?
When I read
books. Books. Kéo dài. Books. When I read books.
The reason why I need to use my imagination for reading is that when we read, there's no picture, there's no illustration, just only text, and I need to use my imagination from experience to have a picture of the situation, of the context the writer is talking about, and I think there's no difficulty if if we enjoy reading and if we can use our imagination when reading. And I really love to use my imagination when reading. Okay, it feels like I can have a picture or even a movie inside my head about what is going on in accordance with what the writer is talking about. So yeah, I use my imagination most of the time when I read.
Right, good enough. Okay, so Tường, your turn. Can you describe a time when you needed to use your imagination, please? Can't hear you. Nó có cái vấn đề gì á với là cái microphone của Tường á? Hay là cái mạng của Tường bị lag dữ lắm luôn hay sao? It's like we can't hear you, but we can see the microphone is like going up and down like this. It means she's talking. Yeah. I think you need to restart, I think. Okay, Tường, try again. Okay.
Alright.
Describe, please.
So here I would like to tell you about a situation that I needed to use my imagination. So actually, when I was in elementary school, in our arts classes, we had to use much of our imagination just to draw the pictures based on our teacher's topic. So, but there was a time that I had to use like 100% of my imagination. It's just an art competition.
Oh.
Yeah. So actually, like that art competition was held in my school, and our teachers like told us that we will have to draw whatever topics given on the competition day. So it was a little bit difficult for me because, like, to be honest, I was not really good at art at that time. So, and it was kind of hard to just draw everything based on your imagination. So the topic was the topic was like draw mental health and ways to improve it. As a fifth grade
As they what?
As
As
if
they what? As they what?
a fifth grader.
Careful, you have only 2 minutes. Có 2 phút rồi đó nha.
Yeah. So I used all of my imagination just to like draw, and I thought about a mentally disturbed person and draw it according to the topic. After an hour, the result of the after a few hours, I finally finished it. Also, I didn't really get the high prize, but I was proud of myself because I could draw such an difficult topic as that.
Very well. Now, Miss Lynn, please. Describe a time when you needed to use your imagination, please. Your microphone. Bật mic nè, Lynn.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the situation that I needed to use my imagination. This is the occasion that
It was an occasion when
It was an occasion that I do IELTS speaking practice.
Careful.
I did. I did
IELTS
speaking.
You were speaking too fast and making a lot of mistakes.
IELTS speaking test with my tutor and Mr. John.
Mr. What about
and
it?
I stumbled upon with
I stumble upon something.
Upon a stranger topic that I wasn't
topic
I wasn't familiar to. Mr. Jones asked me to describe
nó là asked tại vì quá khứ của nó.
asked me to describe a foreign country that I had been to. Yes, actually I have never been abroad, so I try to use my imagination to talk about this topic.
Okay, good, very good. And how you felt about it?
Firstly, when I received the QCAS, I try to use my mind to think of the foreign country that I know about best.
The foreign country.
The foreign country that I know about best. I recently see on TV about the New York City, Washington City, the capital of USA. So I choose this to my subject. Then I wrote down adjectives, and now that could help me describe that city and like high attitude, hospitable and hardworking.
Hospitable và hospitable nha. Hospitable.
I had to come up with a believable story to tell.
Qua 2 phút rồi. It's too long already. Careful. Okay, so let's go to part 2 now. Mr. Trung, do you think adults can have lots of imagination?
Sure. Okay, not only children, but adults can have a lot of imagination. For example, as you know, most adults need to go to work, and when they cannot make it to their workplace, they need to use their imagination
to lie,
to make up an excuse. The imagination can be the crazy traffic, a flat tire, their alarm didn't go up. Okay, so in that situation, every time the adults need to make an excuse, they need to use their imagination to invent something and feel to tell a lie, maybe. Okay.
To tell what? To tell what? To tell what?
Tell a lie.
To tell a lie from.
To tell a lie to the other people. They need to convince their situation.
Uh-huh. Okay, good. Miss Lin, can you answer this question? Do you think adults can have lots of imagination?
Yes, definitely. But I think adults have like imagination, but it's more feasible and reality than
You
children.
mean more realistic, isn't it?
Yeah, realistic than children's.
Can you give examples about that to back it up?
Okay, for example, adult can come up with can try to use imagination to come up with like something when they making film or created robots. They make this, but it's not realistic. It is not really like materialistic, I think.
Materialistic.
I don't remember this word.
Materialistic means thực dụng. But I think the word you're talking about is practical, thực tế. Isn't it?
Yeah.
You need to use the right
I can't
word.
remember this word.
They mean differently. Be careful. Materialistic is a negative word, okay? Practical is a beneficial word, or it's a positive one. Now, so Ms. Tường, please, do you think imagination is essential for scientists?
Well, I think that imagination and innovation are really important in science. Without imagination, science would never have existed.
Never have existed.
Existed. So I think that imagination helps scientists to encircle the world, like
what do you mean
take
encircle? Encircle the world? What? Encircle the world? Bao xung quanh, bao phủ thế giới hả?
Like they have an overview look of the world and our life to make
an overview. To have an overlook or overview of the world, you mean? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now, so Mr. What kind of jobs need imagination? What do you think?
Well, I think that like there's some certain professions might need a higher level of imagination than others. So those jobs that like directly related to art, such as designer, artist, writer, or actor. For example, in order to create and write a novel.
In order to create.
To create. Like a novel, the author must spend hours per day to visualize in their mind how their story would develop. And I think that the other jobs may have imagination too, but they just need like a lower level of imagination than the jobs that related mostly to art.
Like designers, for example, visual designers, graphic designers, something like that. You think so? Right. Okay. So, Mr. Trung, what do you think? What kind of jobs need imagination?
Personally, I think the people who work in the film industry need a lot of imagination. For instance, have you seen the recent movie in the cinema? It's a film about a superhero in uh, imagine world, and the director or people behind the production team needs to use a lot of imagination to build the artificial world. The world came out of nowhere, so they need to use a lot of imagination to build imaginary world. As I'll say that's one example. And I think the people who work in the film industry needs to use a lot of imagination to create the product and products
to create a product
and present.
And there's also a field, it's called marketing. People need to think of ways to make videos, to market the products. Marketing people actually are very imaginative, I think. Anyway, so what subjects are helpful for children's imagination? What do you think? All over your microphones off now. Okay, what subjects are useful or helpful for children's imagination, Mr.?
Well, I think that imagination is like closely linked to art. So I suppose subjects like literature, painting, or drama, like will teach will improve and build children's imagination. Additionally, some activities outdoors, like extracurricular activities, could also improve their imaginative ability. Imagination. Spending time in nature and playing outdoors are some of the really important ways and essential skills for the children to enrich children's imagination.
I see. Right. That might be it, I think. Now, so Miss Lin, please. So what subjects are helpful for children's imagination? What do you think?
I mentioned there are a lot of subjects that help to grow children's imagination, but I think the most subject can help is
the most subject can have rồi xong. The most subject can have rồi xong.
The most helpful.
The most helpful subject that can help.
That can help in school imagination is
improve imagination.
Improve imagination with art or literature. Because when you need to draw a picture, you have to use imagination. Or when you read a novel, it's full of words, so you still have to use imagination. Or spending time in outdoor activity, also a creative.
Doing outdoor activities.
Also a creative outlet that can help children imagination.
Creative outlets. Yeah, it's a good idea. Creative outlets.
Great.
Creative outlets.
Creative outlet. that can help children develop imagination
can help
about
children to develop
our world.
Okay, so Miss Lin, how can people build or improve their imagination then? This is people in general, okay? What do you think? What's your idea? Không nghe từ nói gì luôn. I think your internet really bad. It's really bad right now. It lags a lot. Can't hear anything. Or maybe it's your microphone that is problematic. I think you need to buy a headset. Em kiếm cái headset á, mua cái headset chuyên dùng để mà học online á. Just buy a headset, especially you know, typically used for online learning. You'll be good to go. Now, Miss Lin, so how can people build or improve their imagination? This is people in general, okay? Con người nói chung thôi. Miss Lin, do you have the answer?
Actually,
You don't know?
I have no idea.
Mr. Trung, can you help her? How can people build or improve their imagination? What do you think?
Okay. This is a really tough question.
It's a tough question, yes. But as I already gave you a clue before, try to avoid things that are repetitive. Tránh làm mấy cái gì mà nó mang tính lặp lại á. Try to avoid doing repetitive things.
I'm not so sure about that, because you know, when people do something repetitive in a fixed amount of time, okay, so somehow they will get creative and use their imagination.
Well, sometimes it helps. Yeah, I agree.
And
but
get the job.
For me, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Well, sadly.
All right. So for the people, to help people build or improve their imagination, I think people need to be in a good physical and mental condition.
Okay. A good physical and mental condition. Điều kiện về thể lực và trí lực tốt.
Okay.
I believe so too.
Okay, so yeah.
Because if your body doesn't feel well, and if you don't feel well, how can you be imaginative, right? Because imagination, it requires a good body. It requires a sane mind, a mind that is not insane, a mind that is sane, not insane. Cái đầu mà nó phải bình tĩnh, đàng hoàng chứ không phải là điên loạn. And then the body should not be having any problem at all. Then you can spend time imagining, you know, things. Anything else? Okay, okay, yes, continue, please. Okay, if not, let's move on to the next one. We cannot spend too much time in one place all the time. Try something here. Maybe I can just do this. Just move these things together, you know, and then save some space. I should have done this one a long time ago, but I didn't. Maybe try 37. Describe a time when you made a promise to someone. miêu tả một cái thời điểm mà bạn đã hứa ai đó cái gì đó. You made a promise to someone. You should say what the promise was. Là hứa gì vậy? To whom you made it. Các bạn đã hứa với ai? Whether it was easy or difficult to keep. Liệu nó dễ hay là khó giữ cái lời hứa đó. Explain why you made it. Và giải thích tại sao bạn lại hứa như vậy. Past tense, okay? A lot of those questions, part 2, are in past, simple past, okay? Simple past. You have to be careful with the verb you use, okay? Phải cẩn thận nói như từ thôi. Speak slowly, slower, but be careful with the verb you are using, okay? Nói chậm lại, phải cẩn thận cái động từ mà sử dụng thôi. And then you have part 3, a promise. What kinds of promises do people often make? Con người ta thường là có những cái loại lời hứa như thế nào? Thường phải hứa hẹn những cái kiểu hứa như thế nào? Like promises about what? We can talk about promises about things like going to the gym. Lời hứa về chuyện đi tập thể dục thể thao ha. Going to the gym, studying well, studying hard. Hứa sẽ học chăm. Promise will study hard. Or promises about promise to love someone, loving someone. You know, people always break that promise anyway. Con người ta có luôn luôn phá cái lời hứa hẹn về tình yêu. They always break the promise anyway, but you know. But then people always promise things about loving someone till they die or something like that, you know. There can be promises about what? Promises to to finish deadlines in time. Phải hoàn thành deadline kịp lúc nhé. Dạ em hứa. To finish deadlines in time. What else?
Promises to pay money.
Yes, to pay back someone. To pay back someone money on time. Yeah, this is I think one of the most common promise. One of the most common promises is to pay back someone money on time, but they never do. Humans are like that. What other promises? Hứa sẽ chơi với con cái khi về nhà. Promise they will take their children to the zoo, take the children to the playground, for example. Promise that if the child achieve well, they would receive a reward, but a lot of the time parents forget, you know. Now, which comes to the next question. Do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children? Cha mẹ ở Việt Nam có hứa hẹn với trẻ nhỏ của họ hay không? Think about what I just said. Tại sao ba má hứa ba má không làm? Why do you promise things to children but you don't keep your promise? To keep your promise. Không giữ lời hứa. But they always break promise. You know. Do children keep their promises? Trẻ nhỏ có giữ lời hứa của chúng không? Why do some people fail to keep their promises? Tại sao một số người họ lại thất bại trong chuyện mà giữ lời hứa của họ? Can you give examples? No. Why do some people promise a lot? Tại sao một số người họ hứa rất nhiều? Hứa thật nhiều. Well, think about people in sales. Những cái người mà làm sales, làm marketing, những người sales là đảm bảo là hứa nhiều nhất luôn. I think people in sales are people who have to talk a lot. They promise a lot too, I think. But the question here concerns, why do people promise a lot? Tại sao con người ta lại hứa rất nhiều? I think it's to gain some benefits, để có thể có được một số cái lợi ích từ chuyện con người ta tin họ. To gain some benefits from the fact that people will believe in them, you know, to believe in their promises. Like for example, không tin sao cho mượn tiền. If people do not believe in them, they wouldn't be able to, you know, lend them money. And of course they promise to pay back, but then they never do. You know? Okay, think about what I just said and give some examples. You have your examples, okay? Alright, some time to think. Okay, Miss Tương, please. Can you describe a time you made a promise to someone?
I would like to talk about a promise that I made to my cousin, but it became increasingly hard for me to keep it because of, some certain circumstances. So my cousin lives quite far from me, and he turned 15 5 months ago. So he wanted me to be with him and his brother, like another cousin, on that special occasion, and I promised him that I would be by his side on that day no matter what. But unfortunately, like the next day, I received a notification from my school that I had, a activity on the exact same day of his birthday. I felt really bad because I actually wanted to be with my cousin on his birthday, but because of my school's activity, it was not possible for me. So when I told the situation to my cousin, he felt.
I told
really,
my cousin the situation.
Yeah, when I told my cousin the situation, he felt really depressed, and he said that he would not celebrate his birthday without me. I tried a lot to convince him to change his mind, but he was in no mood to listen to me. But luckily, I came to know that we finished our activity 30 minutes sooner. So I asked my dad to give me a lift to his
I asked my father to.
Sorry, I asked my father. I asked my father to give me a lift to his house. So when I reached there, my cousin
When
was
When I reached
there, my cousin was really, was trying to see me. And, I was so happy that I was able to fulfill my promises.
My what? My promises. Okay, good. I think it's good enough. Right, Miss Lin, please. Can you describe a time you made a promise to someone? There was a time I promised my teacher to hand in the homework in time or on time.
There are a lot of promises that I made with my parents. And here, I would like to talk about promises which I made with my parents. The promises that I get good mark in maybe 6th grade. Actually,
Sixth grade.
6th grade.
No, six. Nó phải kéo dài cho x ra, vậy là nó mở rộng miệng ra nữa. Sixth grade. In 6th grade.
Actually, I didn't stay well in 5th grade, and my mask was very low. Another reason that I make lower mask is I got in an accident that my leg is broken. So I failed to get good marks. Then my parents really understood me, and they knew the reason I cannot entirely focus. I could not entirely pay attention to my study.
Okay. How you made it, why you made it, and everything. Yeah. All right, good enough, I think. Mr. Trung, please.
Yeah. A time when I made a promise to someone is
I
when
made a promise. Cẩn thận. Your pronunciation,
I
careful,
made
careful.
a promise to someone is when my youngest sister.
You
She
have
was
a
studying.
younger sister?
Yeah, she was studying in the secondary school,
Oh.
and I make a promise that if she got good grades for uh, the final exam, I would buy her a small gift. Um, okay, so the promise here is real easy to fulfill, and at first I promised to give her a small gift, but I try my best.
But what?
I try my best. No, but eventually, okay, I bought her a bigger gift, so it was a really easy promise to fulfill, and
To fulfill.
and from my experience, every time I make a promise to someone, I promise to the small thing, but in the end, I give them the bigger one so that the result would go beyond the expectation and that people would really be happy and appreciate what I did.
What did you say? Last sentence?
Okay,
Nói nhanh qua đây làm gì? Why do you have to speak fast? Why?
Okay, so every time I make a promise to someone, okay, I promise to do the small thing, but eventually the result will go beyond the expectation. So
Expectation, yeah.
the person
Or don't promise at all.
whom I make a promise to would be really happy and appreciate the thing I have done. So that's how I make promise to people.
That's why I made a promise to people. Okay, got it. All right, let's go to part 3 of promise. So, Mr. Wang, please. So, what kinds of promises do people often make?
Well, so I think that Vietnamese people often make promises about being on time. Like whenever they have a plan to go together with their friends or anyone else, they would promise that they will be on time. But they usually break the promise due to some certain circumstances.
Always circumstances. Đầu tư hoàn cảnh.
Like traffic jam or oversleeping, kinds that like things like that would make them break the promises whenever they are late or not being on time on the plans.
Yes. Do I promise you anything I said? No, I don't promise you anything. Okay. My cat, I don't promise her anything. Okay. So, Miss Lin, do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children? What do you think? Miss Lin, your microphone. Do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children? What do you think, Miss Lin? Hello? Miss Lin, are you there? Ủa sao không nghe Linh?
Thầy nghe em nói không ạ?
Okay, yeah, please answer that now. Do parents in Vietnam make promises to their children? What do you think? Yes, please answer that.
For some parents who are a little bit traditional and preserve, they maybe not put to think whether they want to do. It's pretty common in good old-fashioned families in rural Vietnam. But in contrast, the younger generation tend to grow more intimate with their kids, and it is widely
Intimate with
practiced.
their kids.
With their children, with their children, and it is widely practiced among young parents as a way to keep their words if the children behave themselves or do good something.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you think it's a common practice, right? Là một cái chuyện mà hay làm. It's a common practice. Cái chuyện hay xảy ra. Right. So Mr. Trung, please, what do you think? Do children keep their promises?
Yeah. Okay, so
Yes.
children don't really have any opinion by themselves, but the way people choose to keep or not keep their promises depends much on the way how the parents chose to keep or not keep their promises.
Exactly, because children they mirror their own parents. Trẻ nhỏ nó theo gương cha mẹ thôi. So basically, children mirror the verb mirror. Children mirror their own parents.
All right. So if the parent raise the children well, they keep their promises. So in the following years, when the children grow up, they tend to fulfill the promise they make to the other people. And in case the parent do not deliver their promise to the children or let the children down, so that children tend to break the promise they make to their friends, their family, and other people. So this is a very heartbreaking situation.
Yeah, very hard. What?
A heartbreaking situation.
Heartbreaking situation.
So yeah, so the way parents raise and keep their promise to children will affect the how children make or break their promises.
Good. So basically, look at the way children keep promises or not. You can think about how their parents are. Similar.
Yeah.
They say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Táo thì không có rơi xa khỏi cái cây của nó đâu. Of course. Now, so Mr. please. So why do some people fail to keep their promises? What do you think?
Well, basically, I think that people fail to keep their promises because of two main reasons. The first one is that they made some promises that beyond their abilities, and they're too hard for them to make the promises come true. So it's too hard for them to keep their promises, so that they have to break it. And the second reason is that they made so much promises that they just cannot even remember them all. So they have to break some just in order to resolve the other ones.
So you mean in promises too much that they cannot even keep track of it, huh? Is that what you're trying to say, Mr.? Some people they just promise a lot. They fail to keep track of their own promise. Không biết được là mình từng hứa luôn. They fail to keep track of their own promises. Of course. Hứa thật nhiều, hứa thật nhiều. Anyway, so Mr. why do some people promise a lot? Since you know, you seem to know a lot about this topic, I think. What do you think? Why do some people promise a lot?
I think that it really depends on their cause and their excuses. You know, like for the doctor.
They are what? Depends on
their
what?
situations.
What do you mean? What do you say?
Like I said, it really depends on the situations.
What situation is that?
So for example, when doctors have to make promises to their patient, right, just to keep calm, keep calm, and trying to like motivate and encourage the patients. So they have to encourage the patients to motivate them. So the other situation is that a person want to like show off to their partners or their friends about the ability to like have lots of things about, like, for example, a person would like to show up to their friends about their financial ability.
About their finance?
About their financial ability.
Okay. Khả năng tài chính của họ. Well, but that is not a promise, isn't it? It just show off, you know?
Yeah, they want to show off, so they like make promises about like their payment of their money. I think so.
Okay. Right, I see. Now, so Mr. Trung, what do you think? Why do some people promise a lot?
Okay, so
good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good question. I should rephrase the question as, why do some students promise a lot?
People make promise when they want to make others feel happy and easier to manipulate.
To manipulate people, exactly. To manipulate people, để mà nó gọi là điều khiển người khác, sai khiến, điều khiển, hay là thao túng người khác thì đúng hơn, thao túng tâm lý người khác.
This happened a lot in
people. Manus is bàn tay, manus the hand. Manipulate means like you're trying to influence people to do things for you or do things that you like. Thao túng.
So this happens a lot in the sales industry.
Of course, the sales industry.
When the salesman wants their customers to sign a contract and get the money, so they
contract.
So they
sign contract or yes.
Yeah, so they simply make any kind of promise as possible, even the ones that the salesman couldn't fulfill, but they just go through with their promises.
They just promise to be able to sell more products.
Yeah, as long as they can sell products.
So never trust salespeople. Never ever. Really?
But if we understand the situation, what the sale trying to do, we need to understand it, and sometimes we can manipulate back to the salesman. So
are you sure you can do that? Are you sure you can do that? It's a possible thing to do.
It's a skill, you know. Like
you mean counter manipulate?
Yeah.
Counter manipulate. Thao túng
Okay,
ngược.
so if you can give me something that I want from you, or maybe I can buy your products or something like that. So like try to negotiate and come to a middle ground, make a win-win situation.
Right. If you can do that successfully, why not? Now, so I think that's it for today, I guess. Alright, so I think that's it for today. You have your essay to do, and on Saturday we should do that, okay? We should be able to correct it. Okay? Don't promise me anything. You just have to do it. Don't promise me anything. Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh để đăng ký kênh á, để mà các bạn có thể được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.